Okay guys, this is the bottom part where the air filter fits around here. Now, as you all seen in my previous videos, I had these glued down in these areas to get the air, to try to block the air out. But this is a type of plastic that doesn't allow glue to stick to it, and doesn't allow paint to stick to it. So I got to figure up some other ideas. So excuse me, I turned it upside down and I cut some plastic. I don't know where I think I got that over at the plastic store. And I'm gonna put one there, and I'm gonna put one there. And I got my plastic welder out. I'm going to read up on it tonight. I've never used it before. But the guys at the store called Mr. Plastic told me that welding to this type of plastic will work. And that's a good way to keep these things on. I was thinking of having that on there, and this on the other side, running a screw through it like I did these. Excuse me again. But if you could see, I mean, that was the glue that I used on this was used for PVC pipe, but I did screw it down. So if I could weld these edges up, and it leaks through here, these edges right there leak on both sides. And so I'm trying to make this air box, it'll fit like that on the motor. I'm trying to make this airtight. So I found out this filter was clogged up, and it was sucking air through here and in right here. So you could see a hole right through there, and it's not fitting real tight over there. So I got to fill these up to make this. That's the area that fits against the carburetor. I got to make this airtight. I got a new lid on the way. This one, I messed it up. It was my fault. But I'm putting bracing across here to here, and I'm going to take that hole all the way out and all. But let me pause it and show you something else. Okay, this is the air tube, if you remember. Now I got 4 sides to it, which adds strength. Where the 2 pieces were, this was an add-on. I've welded all that up. Now these little hoops are going to be on the sides. No. This will be the back, and this will be the front. And these are going to be, as with these, I'm going to get some metal strapping like this and come down to an angle bracket on the mower. And that's how I'm going to secure this down. I'm going to get another piece of metal, take this gasket off, and add probably an 1/8 inch thick, and cut it out to fit on this bottom piece, and that way this is stronger. But I'd done this because I wanted the tube to be stronger this time, because the tube was not strong. And that way I'll use metal strapping to go down instead of wire. And I got it primered up right now. I did a little bit of stitch welding on both sides. And I know it looks ugly, but it's sturdy. And the reason I want it sturdy is that I've had this hit a couple times, and it'll just screw this thing up. And low-hanging limbs and crap like that. So that's why I'm doing this. I'm building this, so it'll be permanent. And I want to put a thicker, that's like a 14 gauge down there, but I want to put an 1/8 inch, and maybe drill some holes and rosette weld it in. That way it's really sturdy right there. But the main thing is I want to run strapping like this down to the body of the mower and to an angle iron piece off the body, and that will secure this and keep the weight from moving, on top of the air filter. The air filter is only plastic, but this is the air tube, and got to make a metal piece for that bottom. But other than that, it's done, and I think that'll be pretty cool. But like I said before, the air filter was leaking, and I found all the spots and the glue come undone on it. So I'm having to redo it completely. So, but this is the air tube. I haven't got it painted or that piece on the bottom just yet. So more videos to come. Okay, quick update. I had these filled with a epoxy style of filler, but it crystallized, and when I drilled it, it cracked and broke. So I went ahead and just dug all it out. Now in the bottom you see I have a washer. It's this washer, but I had to drill it out for a 7/16 bolt, and it'll fit. Well, that didn't fit, so I'm glad I tried it out. I have to find one that fits in there, a washer that fits in there. I'm going to take some JB Weld copy and put down inside that and strengthen that up. This was a spot that leaked a lot, and it's easy to pop them out. These are the levers that were in like this, and as you can see, if you turn them like this and pop it on this side with a hammer, it's just interference fit with that little ring right there, and that's how them pop in and out. But all that leaks air through there, so I'm going to fill that with epoxy, the metal epoxy, or the JB Weld kind, and squish it all up in there, and then re-drill that hole. I'm going to have to look for another. See, this one fit on the other side. That's why I thought it would fit there. But I got to look. I'm going to find me a little bit smaller washer and put in there. And that adds strength to it. And that also lines up everything. It lines it up to where I need to drill it. Now on this one, this is the, let me put that there. Now I still have to drill my holes for my air intake, and then I'm going to cut just a straight hole right there. On the underside, this is what holds your air filter down, is these ribs right here. And so my hole will be in the middle, and the 4 bolts that hold it in place will be right there. But I got some more modifications I'm going to do to my air tube. But let me go on to this. This is the base. This fits on top of the carburetor. You see, I got this plug out, and I put Bondo in there because I was figuring it would be a lot cheaper to put Bondo in there than it would be a lot of JB Weld. And so I put a stud through there. I had a washer on the bottom and a washer on top. That aligns both of them up. There's a nut and bolt on bottom and in the middle. And so that's how I lock them in place. And as you can see, that is a lock nut. And the same right there. I'm thinking on putting some heat tape or heat reflective tape that I have a little bit left over on this side right here, because that's where the wind hits. Now I still am working on, I'm going to do, well, I've been working on these to cover that up. And then I'm going to put something probably reuse these on the inside and just put a screw through it and hold all that in place like that. The screw that I have going through there helps hold this in place, and this screw will also help hold this stuff in place too. This is a crankcase. It goes to the crankcase, and I'm not sure what that goes. I think it goes to the gas tank. But if you look, there's a tiny hole that goes through. But I got to order another air filter. The guys on eBay sent me the wrong air filter. He sent me a real short one, and it takes a certain height to fit in there. But anyhow, I got a washer down inside of here. Okay, I've decided to go a different way on the air filter on the Kohler 700. This is the original bottom box, and I have to use it because it's what hooks up to the carburetor right there. And these are the heat shields that push the air over the cylinders. And so I have to retain that part, and part of this does the same thing too. There was an oval piece of plastic that held the air filter, kind of helped hold it down, and I've ground that off. I used this a little bit, but ended up just taking one of them oscillating tools and knocking most of it off, and then I took a small drum sander and sanded it down, and then sandpaper and stuff like that, and got it smooth. This was another modification that I was trying to do to get the lid to fit better. These air filters leak real bad in this general area, and they clog up because they suck in air, because they're an air-cooled engine, and they'll blow it right in here and just clog it, filter all up. So I'm trying to do a snorkel system that will make this get away from the dust and debris and crap. And that's what this is. That's exhaust tubing. I had it on the lid last year. I ran it for 2 seasons like that. But then because of these spots in this, it's still clogged my filter up. But anyhow, my idea right now is I'm making an adapter that will fit on. And this is regular old 2x8, and I have you can see the old gasket that went on here, and I kind of made a guide that I used on there. I just got through drilling these holes, but I haven't gone through the body of this yet. The front, you can see how I got the front contoured to where it fits into this. This all clearances the carburetor, I believe. Or clearances something right there. I believe it's carburetor. Anyhow, I had to do some notching, and most of it I did with this, just regular old wood chisel. And you can see right here I used my bandsaw. I did use the oscillating tool on that. I'd make cuts, then come down right here, and then I'd take that chisel and knock that out, and I worked on that quite a bit, and it seems to fit pretty good. This would be nice because it makes a good insulator, and I needed it to raise up, so I have a good base to put this on. Now I'm going to get this all snugged up and probably drill them holes all the way through. And this is a 7/16 that I'm using, which I got plenty of. And I'll put them through and tighten it down, and after I get the gasket sealant on there, and I might even paint that, which I should, because it would make it last longer. But I know you're thinking that's a mighty small hole, but it's only 27 horse, and I did open it up somewhat so it would fit a little bit better. And I need to make another gasket. You can see the Kohler is imprinted on that gasket, how it's squished down. I was using foam, what is this? This is a window sealer, and it made a pretty good gasket. I didn't like the fact that it wasn't one piece, so I had to glue all these pieces together. But I have to figure out something for a gasket for this. I plan on running a piece of angle iron across to the sides of the mower. That way it'll brace this, keep it from moving. But I'm really tired of clogged up air filters and air filters that just, messed up all the time. And a good lawnmower will have a cyclone air filter, and you'll see them, they're a big cartridge style filter, but it makes the air go in a circle and it throws the debris out. And it's been used in Baja for many, many, many years with great success. Almost all air filters on Army vehicles are cyclone air filters too, so I couldn't find one that'd be small enough for this, but I could use a tractor one, but I don't know if they got one that would work on a small enough engine like this. But there was a lot of work that went into just this little piece right here, and a lot of guys use stuff like this for carburetor insulators because they repel the heat pretty good. I also use that oscillating tool to cut this hole out. It's not perfect, but it'll get the job done. And but this will be the first in a couple of videos that I'll do on this. So let me see about getting to my next step. Okay. I got this bolted down. I've got a lot of sealant underneath there. I've got to remember when I go back, there's two, I shouldn't have done that. There's two vent pipes right there that go up into that area. You can see there's a relief right there, and there's a relief right over there. And got to make sure both of them are free and clear. The big one, the big pipe right there is for the crankcase ventilation, and that one is to the carburetor. And so I painted it, and I got this all put down, and yeah, getting goo on my hands. But anyhow, using this setup is what I'll use to put this down with. Like I said, all this is going to block the air, so it goes over the cylinder heads and cylinders and cools the engine. So, trying to come up with some ideas to make this thing survive and last. Another motor is going to run $1,500, and I'll be damn sure it ain't going to be another Kohler. Kohler, I ain't kidding, it just gave me 9 kinds of hell. And I do all this adapting and crap. And I guarantee they're watching my videos, because I've seen them do some crap that I pointed out in my videos. Like the fact that they make these motors overseas, and then they all of a sudden started putting American flags on the back of the new motors. But there's real tiny print in there with parts from here, there, and everywhere. You know, not the full truth. Not like they would, you know, any big corporation tell you the truth anyhow. But I may end up having to cut these off. That was another idea I was working on that didn't work out, but the bad thing is I got a regular air filter for this thing on order, so this was an idea that just come up out of the blue, and so I'm working on it now. So this is what it looks like, kind of put together. The silicone will keep it together, and so that way I can install it and then turn on, you know, and undo these to put this on here. I was looking for some gasket material, and I found this piece. The problem is it's foam. It is thick, but the thing about that is that it'll squish down. Now I have to cut a hole and do all the, you know, mark it out, but that might make a good gasket there. I'll just have to see about that. But yeah, I bought another lid, and you see how I was modifying it to do the other that had the studs come through, but the problem is the studs that I put on that won't line up with this lid, and so another damn problem. But if this works right, then I won't need that. Well, I got to go with this anyhow. I have no choice. But anyhow, I'm going to stop the video for now, because this has got to dry, and I got to go fix lunch for tomorrow at work. Anyhow, off to the next video. Okay, one last look at this used to be the air filter housing, and this is what bolts up to the carburetor, to be upside down like this. Now I've cleared all off that was on the inside, and I've put this is a 2x8, but it's actually measures out 7.5, and I had to trim a little bit to get around this post. This is all Bondo that I've filled it in to make it stronger, and I've filled that gap in. And what I didn't see, I put. I'm trying to make this whole thing as strong as possible. And as you can see, I put some extra screws on bottom. They'll hide up in there good. What I'm going to try to do is, once I install this back on, I got my tools and stuff to do that. Well, I left my brackets. I have these angle brackets that are going to go from the body, and I left them on the mower. Anyhow, to come up and try to attach to this on the underside, so I may have to knock that little ridge out of the way. I wanted to leave that ridge because it put strength in there, but I was gonna, on this piece, I was going to put a little bit of RTV around the outside of it to try to make sure that this thing remains airtight. With all the strengthening, it looks like it's a pretty strong unit. I may paint all this to make it look better, but I've got to get some brackets. I've got some more aluminum angle brackets up at the house. I'm going to go one on this side, one on this side, one on the back side. I painted that inside section so it would be smoother, and hopefully none of this will rot, but I'm going to keep, the mower inside. Yeah, I should probably paint that and make it look better, but this was Bondo. and I know it's not looking smooth, but I was scraping it and putting it in and messing with it too long, but I'm trying to make it strong. Yeah, I wasted money on that, but oh well. Plans change, and that was part of what I was doing on the video, is that plans change, and I had to adapt and go forward. I had to use this piece because all this and this is what blocks that air and makes it go over the cylinders. Now I added a piece of plastic right here, and I super glued it in, and I used welding clamps, and I showed that in a previous video, and that seems to be holding in really good, and I hope that covered them holes up and made it strong. So what I'm trying to do is make this all breathe through here, and it's going to breathe through that tube of the air filter. So let me go see what my next movement is. I may have to see if I can tie in, or if where them brackets are going to show up at. But anyhow, let me go do that, and I'll get back with you. Okay, this is a kind of an idea of how it's going to lay out. I got my braces installed, got them bolted to this guard around the motor, which connects in through this bolt. I got it bolted to this part goes to the cover, and underneath it goes to the carburetor, and I got that Loctited in place. I was working on this with rat tail file to get it to fit properly. This was the one that wasn't fitting good, or wasn't fitting right. So I can just take that off like that, and that's that piece of wood I was telling you about. And you can see how it all lays out now. And so now that I got that part done, see, it fits down pretty good. I've got to run braces there to there and here to here, and I got this on the front of the engine, so I have to run something from there to there. But triangulating it, will make it sturdy. This one I got two. You can see my filings down there, but I just used an old L bracket. It didn't fit up there tight because the last hole that was in this bracket fit in here, and so I spaced it out, and this is going to be super sturdy, which my goal was to make it sturdy. I'll come back and I'll paint all this black. I'll put paint on it just to cover it. But I'll call that it for now. Okay, look how far I got. I got the gasket in place. I got lock nuts on it. I painted all that to make it look prettier. And the big part is these braces right here. Now look, I could push this thing and it's not moving, and that's exactly what I was wanting. What I did is I set these up here, and then I went down, and then I marked the hole for that, drilled it, and run that. That's a 1/4 7/16 with a lock nut on it, on all these. And these are aluminum angle pieces. Now this one, even though I had get a better look at it right here, I did have this on there. It was going to be flopping around too much, so I went ahead and drilled a hole there to make it the size that it needed to be, and be tighter, and that's what I'm after. Next video I'll have the air filter on. I'm kind of wore out today from doing all this stuff, but I painted part of the rails. Other than that, that's going to be just exactly the way I wanted it. I want all my air to come out of this up here. I don't want no air to come out from down there. And I want all that dirty air that it sucks in and goes through to stay away from the carburetor. That's been getting inside my motor, and I know that's not good. Now, one thing I didn't show you guys is that there's a part of that flywheel, there's a screen on it, but there's really no good way to take it off without breaking it. So I cut a hole in it to get to that bolt down there. I took that flywheel off to see if the magnets had came off, and they didn't. So it's something else that's screwing up the charging system, but I'm going to try to bypass that completely. But anyhow, it's another story, another drama thing with the Kohler engines. Anyhow, I'll do another video with the top on it when I get that all done. Okay, I got the air filter put on. I sprayed the air filter oil, you know, the kind that's made for foam air filters. It's got a really tackiness to it, and that makes these filters more effective. That's a 3-inch exhaust tube, and so I got one. It's an automotive style filter. Now, a lot of you people may think this was a lot of work, but like I said, if you look previous videos and seen most of this video, this air filter system was bypassing dirt and crap into the engine, and so I did all this to make the engine live longer. This gets up high as like a snorkel, gets above the debris and crap. But I'm surprised. I like how sturdy that is. If I have to, I'll put silicone around it if I have to make sure that it stays sealed. But I want my air to come up from here, and now I can move my chair back a little bit more and have a little bit more room. Changed oil, got a new fuel filter on it, so it's ready for the season. I always keep it on trickle charge, because like I said, the charging system's failed, and I'm going to try to adapt a marine alternator to it in a upcoming upcoming video. And I'm not going to do it out of the top like a lot of other people have done, like Redbeard did on his. I want to do it on bottom with that one down there, with the belt that goes on the engine, because it stays running all the time. But that's going to be a tough one. I got to figure out how to pick this thing up in the air so I can get underneath it and fabricate some mounts. And that's going to be a booger to do. So right now, what I do is I have a charger, and you see a timer. Like every 15-20 minutes, I got it set up where it goes on for 5 minutes or so, and it turns off. That's a good way to charge a battery, to pulse it like that. But anyhow, this air filter system should be good. Man, that is sturdy. I like that. It turned out better than I thought. I got to buy me some of them polymer valve covers and pop these off, because I actually tried to get these off and I couldn't. I figured out if I did take them off, I would warp them. So that's the poly ones have a built-in O-ring, and I need to set my lash and everything. And the poly ones are designed better than these. These are kind of junk in my opinion. But anyhow, that's my air filter system. I'm going to call this completed. So if anybody needs an idea to, there's mowers out there that the motors go bad because the motors in mowers go bad because they have sucked so much bad air. And that's the reason why I did this. So anyhow, have a good one. I hope this gives you some good ideas, and we'll catch you on my next video.